What I was asked to look at was the possibility of building a new school at Toledo rather than making the old one. So I spent some time on the web looking for different information. Here's the sources that I used. Went to a place called Construction Market Data, and they have information about schools that have been built in the last 5 years, giving the estimated value and the um, square footage. The OSPI, Office of the Superintendent of Public Instruction, has tons of information, and I used them quite a bit to find data. The Construction Specialties Group is the one that did the survey of Toledo's schools, and I used their information in putting some of this information together. Back to OSPI for state report cards for getting them students. This architectural firm is the one that did the Granite Falls High School, which we'll look at a little bit later on. And again, this site here gave me more information just about the schools. And then to verify a lot of my stuff, I called Tom Kuhn up at OSPI in Olympia. He's the Southwest Regional Capital Projects guy, to get some more information from him. So those were where I got all the information I'm about to give to you. So let's just kind of visualize what the school might look like if we presented the idea of building a new school, because if we do build a new school, we can keep the kids in school in the old one while it's being built and save on portable costs. So the way the school's configured now, we have the gym and the shops, and in this proposal idea, I'm thinking we keep those. And then there's the office and the multipurpose room, the commons areas, and the classrooms. And then because the school has fewer numbers of students than it did when it was built, we'd have to reduce the size of the building we're going to make by maybe 25% or so. We could make it the same size, but of course then it costs more. And then if we just reconfigured those and we rebuilt these over in the parking lot area, so the school now looked more like this, and then built the parking lot in the front side here, then that's a possibility. Now, this is no architectural, and the buildings wouldn't be the same shape, but it's just to give an idea. Or we could rearrange it and put them more like this, and then connect the shops with a breezeway of some kind, and we'd have a big courtyard there in the middle. Who knows what it looked like, but this gives you an idea. There's plenty of room to build a new school behind the school that exists now, and let the students stay in the high school while the other school is being built. So just some ideas here. In this diagram, you can see the square footages of the classrooms, the commons, gym, and shop as they exist now. If we add it up all together, including the classrooms that are not highlighted there, the school is 60,349 square feet. If we reduce this total to 39,000 square feet because of the reduced enrollment, that's taking into account about 300 students, and the state is willing to fund about 130 square feet per student. That'd be about 39,000 square feet that we'd be looking at. Here's the enrollment numbers for the school and their projections that I got out of the OSPI document. And you can see our numbers float right in the 270, 280, 290 range throughout there. So if we just put in the average state cost, what do they think it costs to build a school? Here's what they say. And you can see as the years it's gone up, the cost. In 15 it was $309 a square foot, and in 16 it actually dropped a little bit down to $304. And that's the number that we're interested in there to use as kind of making our projections. Now remember, this is the average cost, so more expensive districts and more valuable areas in the cities would cost more, and rural areas would be less. But this is the average, so we'll work from that number for the lack of anything better to work from. And I got this out of that school facilities manual, again, that's on the USPI website off of page 93. So if we take this into account, then when we multiply it out, we can see that to build an entire new school with 39,000 square feet at $305 a square foot, it costs about, call it $12 million to build the school fresh, all new. Okay, and remember, we can build bigger, but the state won't provide matching funds if we do. We'd have to draw from local funds to do that. And this number doesn't include some of the soft costs or the demolition costs. It doesn't include the soft costs are furniture and taxes, design fees, permit fees, and so on. So it would be a little bit more than that. So again, but we're in the $12 million range, plus probably add on another 20% or more to cover those. So let's look at some schools that we've built. Here's the Granite Falls High School. It was built in the last 5 years. It has 132,000 square feet, quite a bit bigger than what we're talking about. They built it for 32,434,000, and so the cost per square foot came in about $244 per square foot, way under what we're talking about. But the costs have gone up, and so we have to take that into account. Here's Aberdeen's high school, again built in the last 5 years. They built 176,000 square feet. They spent $38,250,000 doing it. And so their square footage cost is about $217.33 a square foot. And then a school that's a little bit closer to the size of Toledo. This one has 550 pupils, so it's about double what we're at. They built 109,000 square feet, looking for expansion if the area grows. They spent $27 million doing it. And so they came out with about $246 per square foot. Now, in their literature, they also had other square footage listings, and I could not tell from that what was the best value to use. They had all the ones that other ones were lower. There was one in the 86,000 square foot. And so if we figured that out, the price per square foot would be closer to $340 per square foot. So I'm not sure. I've put a call into Vashon Island to try and get some more solid numbers on that. But it gives us a working number. We can see somewhere between $250 and $350 per square foot is what it would cost to build a new school. So what if we kept the gyms and shop? Let's say that rather than having the 60,000 square feet we currently have, let's drop it down to 45,000. So we're not at the minimum the state gives, but we're not at where we're at now. And the gym is 13,000 square feet, and the shops are about 7,000 square feet. So the square footage that we'd be talking about building is about 25,000 square feet. And if we go with the $305 per square foot construction cost, now we're talking about $7.6 million to build new classrooms, commons area, and keep the shop and the gym the way they are. The one thing to consider is the cost would probably be higher per square foot because we're not building the gym and the shop, and they are, in a sense, cheaper areas to build because they're big open spaces and they don't have as many walls and outlets and furniture and so on in them. So they would be a little bit cheaper. So the price, could go up into the $350, maybe $400 a foot range. Not sure. So it could be as high as $10 million to build the new part. And then, of course, you have to add on the cost of retrofitting the gym and the shops to make them earthquake proof and to bring them up to code. So what would the total cost of all this be? Honestly, I'm not a financial expert on schools, so I can't say for sure. I can give you an idea, and then you can make decisions. And of course, we'll nail this down more, hopefully, if this is the direction we decide to go. So say $8 to $10 million for classrooms, offices, and commons. Then we're going to retrofit the gyms and shops. I pulled these numbers off of the estimates by the CSG group that they gave for estimating what it would take to fix the gym. This does not include the earthquake retrofit because I don't know how much that'd be. They gave it, their number was for the whole school and not singled out for just the gym and shops. So that's something we'd have to talk to them about to get a little bit better data. We still have to pay for the demolition of the old school, but we don't need to buy or rent portables while the school's being built. So there was a budget of $500,000 for portables. We would not have to pay that, and we'd save some money there. So maybe there's a trade-off between the demolition of the old school and the portables. So from what I can tell, building a new school really would not exceed the value of what the previous bond was. In fact, what I can see from what I looked at, it looks like might be even less. But until we have solid numbers, we don't know. So that's the facts that I found. Now, for my opinion, I'd love to see us build a new school. The school is a source of pride in the community, and it'd be nice to have a building that is the center of our community that's something that we can all take pride in. Great.